Our story unfolds in the distant town of Aberdeen, nestled in the heart of North Carolina. This charming town, far removed from the hustle and bustle of modern urban life, is enveloped by vast expanses of lush forest spanning thousands of acres. However, the narrative that follows diverges from the scenic beauty of the locale or the tourism it might attract. Instead, it delves into the harsh reality faced by some of its residents, exposing a side of society seldom depicted on television or in movies. A word of caution, this is not a tale of joy. In fact, it paints a rather somber picture of life. Yet within, you'll discover moments of tenderness and happiness, culminating in an unexpected, uplifting conclusion that is sure to bring a genuine smile to your face once more. Ben and Jack Anderson were two brothers, ages 10 and 12, who lived with their mother, Rebecca Anderson, in an old cabin somewhere in the big woods of North Carolina, and about 30 minutes from the nearest town, Aberdeen. Few people knew the Andersons, especially since the death of the family's father, Mr. Thomas Anderson, a humble carpenter who died suddenly of a heart attack while chopping wood in the back of his house. The family's income plummeted since then, as Mrs. Anderson had been out of work since her children were born, relying entirely on the earnings from her husband's carpentry business. Becoming a widow, Rebecca Anderson tried to find work again but found it very difficult. There were hardly any job openings in the area, let alone for a woman with no work experience in an industry and over 55 years of age. Seeing the difficult situation they were in, Rebecca had to sharpen her wits and look for a quick alternative that would provide them with income and allow them to eat and pay some bills. "My children, I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll get by. I've been watching your father work with wood all my life and helping him with tasks in the workshop, so you could say in a way I've been his apprentice for more than 20 years. The time has come for me to be brave. I'll take up your father's carpentry work and try to do some commissions. I probably won't do as well as he did, but I have to try," she explained to her sons as they ate together by the fire. "We believe in you, Mom. You know we'll help you in any way we can. Ask for whatever you need. We won't leave you alone ever," replied the eldest son Jack firmly and holding his mother's hand tenderly. Unfortunately, the family's efforts to try to get ahead and restart the family business didn't have the effect they'd hoped for. Many of Anderson's regular customers had already moved on to the competition, and others, despite knowing the family and recognizing her husband's good work for so many years, didn't trust his wife to deliver the orders in the level of quality they needed. As a result, the family was only able to get a couple of orders, with which they could barely eat and pay all the bills they had pending. Even so, Mrs. Anderson didn't give up and worked very hard to carry out the few orders she had, hoping that with time and proving her worth, she would get more orders to save the family economy. However, the family wouldn't have to wait that long to make their dreams come true because they were about to receive an unexpected visitor that would change their luck forever. It all happened during a cold winter morning. It had snowed and the temperatures kept dropping, making it impossible to survive without electricity and a good source of heat. Jack and little Ben had gone out to look for firewood in the woods to run the engine of their generator. They'd run out of electricity due to economic hardship and had been surviving on backup generators for a couple of weeks. And just as they were about to return home with the little wood they had found, the miracle they so desperately needed occurred. A man appeared out of nowhere. He approached them while they were carrying the firewood up the mountain. Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story. The boys were very surprised to see someone there. They didn't expect to meet anyone on those roads in the cold weather, let alone a man like that. Both Jack and Ben were sure they had never seen this man before. He was wearing expensive clothes and looked like a foreigner, probably Indian or Muslim because of his dark skin tone and Asian features. At first, they hesitated to approach him as their mother forbade them to talk to strangers, especially if they were a foreigner and suddenly appeared among the trees. But before they could turn around and continue on their way, the man approached them and began to talk to them. And as soon as he did, the boys knew that they were in no danger and they could trust the strange and kind man who had appeared in their path like a miracle from heaven. "Can I help you with anything? Where are you going with all that firewood? It's getting so cold these days. Don't you have a stove at home?" asked the man, worried about the boys. The brothers looked at each other, wondering if they should answer. Finally, it was Jack who decided to take the initiative and tell the man what was happening. The boy was ashamed of his family's dire financial situation, but he also knew there was nothing to be gained by lying. "We need to collect firewood to try to start the engine of the backup generator in our house. We live in a cabin a few meters further up," said Jack, pointing to the end of the trail a few meters away. "We're going through a bad time and have no electricity at home. That's why we need the firewood, sir," admitted the young man, very embarrassed with a crestfallen face. The man's reaction after learning the truth was unexpected. "You don't have to feel ashamed, my boy. On the contrary, you're doing everything necessary to take care of your family. Would you allow me to accompany you to your home? I'd love to help you," the man began as he approached them with a friendly gesture. This invitation caught the Anderson brothers off guard. At first they felt afraid. They didn't know who this man was nor what hidden intentions he might have, but the truth was that these boys were totally desperate for help, and although they knew their mother wouldn't approve, perhaps letting this mysterious man help them was the solution to all their problems. "Yeah, of course, you can come with us. Follow us," Jack told him, carrying the firewood on his back again and setting off on his way home. A few minutes later, the two brothers entered their house, followed by the mysterious man they just met in the woods. At the sight of him, Mrs. Anderson was very frightened and thought he was a burglar who threatened her sons and forced them to lead them home. Jack knew his mother would react that way, so he rushed to reassure her and explain what had really happened. The mother was satisfied, although she was still not very clear about the man's intentions. Once everything had calmed down, Mrs. Anderson invited the man to sit at her table and offered him something to eat, even though she had hardly any food for herself and her children. However, the man refused any food and drink, and before they knew it, he was sitting next to her, holding her hands gently and asking how he could help her and her children. The mother, perplexed, showed him her hands with calluses from so much woodworking and explained the difficult situation she was going through. "Since my husband died, everything has gone wrong for us. I know it's a matter of time before our luck changes, I have faith, but in the meantime, I gotta work day and night to try to bring money and food to my home. My children are very young and can't help me. They only have me, and I feel like I'm failing them every time I don't manage to pay a bill or offer them a hot dinner," she explained, trying to hold back tears as she recounted her sad reality. What that man would say to her a few moments later would leave her speechless and make her sadness end immediately. "You don't have to worry about anything else. Today I'll bring you everything you need to solve all your problems and settle your debts. Neither you nor your children will ever go hungry or cold or worry about money at the end of the month again, I promise," assured the man, holding their hands firmly and looking them in the eyes with an honesty that made it impossible not to believe in his words. The man then left the cabin, leaving the family stunned and processing what had just happened. What the family didn't know was that the man they had just met was not just any man. It was Bill Fakathi, a South African public speaker, filmmaker, and life coach. Bill is well known for his popular videos on social media and for his kindness and charitable acts. But of course, the Anderson family couldn't have known that, as they never had internet access at home and lived a rather rudimentary lifestyle removed from new technologies. The Andersons are part of one of his new documentary videos, with which he intended to help needing families in different countries around the world, an event that the family would end up discovering a few hours later and that would change their lives completely. As he told them, Bill went to buy food and gasoline so the family could live in peace for several months. He then reappeared at the house and handed the family a check for more than $1,000, promising to return the next day with more help. Rebecca and her kids couldn't believe all that this man had just given them. Tears fell from their eyes and they could do nothing but thank him. "Why are you helping us? You don't know us and you just gave me more money than I could have earned in many months of work. How could I return the favor? What can we do for you?" Mrs. Anderson said excitedly, holding the check in her trembling hands. "I don't need anything. You don't owe me anything. Let me help you and don't think about what I might need," the speaker replied frankly. Afterwards, Bill calmly explained to them the whole truth about his identity and what he was doing. The Andersons couldn't believe how lucky they were to have crossed the path of a person as incredible as Fakathi and accepted all the help he offered them. The family would never forget the day that mysterious man crossed their path, offering them everything they needed in exchange for nothing. In his documentaries, Bill Fakathi provides food and financial assistance to the needy and homeless. Bill shoots the films without exposing his face and posts them on his Facebook page and YouTube account, which have tens of thousands of views every day. The touching film proves that there is still good in the world. Did you like this touching and surprising story? If so, we invite you to leave us a comment expressing your opinion. If you want to continue enjoying inspiring stories like this one, subscribe to our channel or check out the other videos shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for your cooperation.